Guys, welcome back to another episode of The Pulse. I don't need to explain anymore what we do. Cool people doing cool things in our cool studio. And today, how do we even define you?
I don't know. What do you
Media
got?
Personality.
TV personality, sure, yes.
Fashion expert.
Yeah, style superstar.
Right. Okay. We can keep going, right? You own a horse farm, so equestrian?
I'm an equestrian, yeah.
Are you really?
Yeah, I am. I have a couple world championship titles under my very fashionable belt. Right. And that's really my passion, like my hobby, which I love. And
Carson Kressley
what else?
is here on The Pulse.
That's me. Is that my little camera? It's like a little ghost. Hello.
Yeah, you know, we sneak it in so you just have a casual conversation, not
I
be
love
fazed
it.
by it. Appreciate you coming in.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
So, fashion expert.
Mm-hmm.
We should have talked before we actually did the segment so you could style me.
Right.
Like,
that would be an extra charge, though, Bill.
It's like that.
No, it's not like that. But I think you look great.
I work casual.
I did see your interview with Billy Porter, and I know you were like going to get some fashion advice from him, and he was like, "No, you look great the way you are." And he was like all about like, you know, style is very personal. Right. And my opinion is that style is a great way to communicate with people, and it's a form of manners, and it's a form of self-expression. And of course, whatever feels good is usually good, but also I'm also still a little bit, you know, old school OG queer eye for the straight guy, where I'm just like, we can fix some things. So I help people with fit and color and being brave about like trying things. I was just doing an event at the Devon Horse Show, and a man was like, "Oh my God, I love your outfit, but I could never do that." And I was like, "Of course you can.
Just be comfortable
You
with
can
it.
do whatever you want. Like if you love it, you can rock it." And they can say, "Oh my gosh, I've never felt this great in my skin because of my clothes."
I don't know if we've ever done this before. I think we need to see the whole outfit. Do you
Oh,
mind
the whole
standing up real
outfit?
quick?
No, not at all. I thought
gotta
you never
see
asked.
You got to see the whole.
You got to see the pants and the shoes.
You got to coordinate.
Yeah, and this was, you know, I don't normally dress like this, but like I said, I was at the Devon Horse Show, which is, you know, very, you can be overly preppy there, and it's okay. I'm mixing a lot of patterns here, which is not for amateurs, but it keeps it fun. And that's really the two goals of like getting dressed in the morning. It should be to make you happy and also make you feel like you can go out and conquer the world. If you can do those two things, you got it nailed.
You're from Allentown.
I am.
That's
yes.
an interesting, Allentown, LA, New York, we were saying before we got started.
Yeah.
Interesting triangle.
I'm lucky that, you know, when I went to Gettysburg College here in PA, and I graduated in 91, and literally like the day after I graduated, I got on a bus and I moved to New York City. I was like the musical 42nd Street, where she takes the bus to Allentown. That was me. And I didn't know which way 42nd Street went, east or west. I was like walking towards the Hudson River, was going the wrong way. And I've lived there basically as a permanent, you know, full-time resident for, I guess it's like 32 years or something insane.
Okay.
And then when I'm filming RuPaul's Drag Race, Barbecue Brawl, projects like that, we're always in California. And then, you know, the Lehigh Valley is so beautiful, and not that many people know that. And I have a beautiful family farm there that we've had for over 100 years.
Allentown, was this always you? Were you always this big personality?
No. And actually I was very, very shy, which I think there's a lot of people who have like big personalities now who like had a shy kind of childhood. And yeah, I was a very timid kid, and elementary school, it was like a little fashion plate, and I got the Calvin Klein jeans like in 1979, and the other kids were like, "Who are you?" And I was like, "I'm pretty fierce." And then I feel like in junior high, which is very challenging, especially for a gay kid in the rural suburbs of Allentown, like Amish adjacent is how I would describe it.
Yes.
You could hear butter churning in the distance. And but I learned that if I was the class clown and I had a big personality and I was kind of one step ahead of everybody, I would not get bullied and I wouldn't get picked on, and I could kind of deflect. So what could have been, you know, a lemon situation I made into a tasty lemon margarita.
But so
Thanks, haters.
I know, right? So you experienced the haters then, but I read that
Yeah.
you were not out to your family at that
No,
point. So
no.
you were dealing with it in school,
Right.
but not at home.
I've talked to a lot of LGBTQ youth, and I think the common thread growing up, as a gay kid is that if you get tortured at school or bullied or picked on or just made to feel less than or like you don't fit in, you're very hesitant about coming home and sharing it with your family and your most loved inner circle because you're afraid that they won't accept you either. So that's I think what's different, and that's why I work with a lot of LGBTQ youth charities, because I know that experience of wondering if you're going to be okay, even when you're at home, can be challenging.
Coming up, on the eve of a national show launch, his parents were still unaware that he's gay? You're faced with the fact that I'm now about to be out to
the world,
everybody.
yes.
And still hadn't officially had that conversation with your family.
No, I hadn't.
Was the first big real public thing the Queer Eye?
Yeah, I was, living in New York City. Like I said, I just, immediately bolted there after college. And I had a great job working for Ralph Lauren, which I loved. And it's a great company, amazing people. I always tell people it's like the Devil Wears Prada, but much preppier and everyone's very nice. And, but one day somebody, one of my producers said, "Oh, I heard about this show called Queer Eye for the Straight Guy and it's gonna be on Bravo." And at that point I was like, "What's Bravo, a nonstick cooking spray?" I was seeing like a commercial with some muffins flying out of the pan. And they're like, "No, it's, this like artsy kind of network." We made a pilot in 2002. It was in Boston. I totally forgot about it, went back to work. And then like a year later, NBC Universal purchased Bravo. They're like, "We love your show. We're gonna make it the cornerstone of the network." And I was just like, "I just wanna know if you have dental insurance," which they didn't. But I was able to quit my job because I had an amazing boss at Ralph Lauren. And it was so serendipitous. And I'm so blessed and lucky because my boss, Liz Paley, said, "Oh, if it doesn't work out, this sounds like an amazing opportunity, but if it doesn't work out, you can just come back." And I was like, "Who gets that?" So we started making the show in 2003, like in March, and it came out in July. And by like August 1st, we were like on the Tonight Show and doing the Ellen DeGeneres
blew up
show.
quick.
It was so quick.
You shoot the pilot, forget about it. Because
Right.
a lot of pilots get shot.
Absolutely.
Not all of them come shows. Forget about it. Then they tell you, "We're launching this show."
Yes.
You're faced with the fact that I'm now about to be out to
the world,
everybody.
yes.
And still hadn't officially had that conversation with your family.
No, I hadn't. And literally, I think the show was coming out like on a Tuesday. We were going to be on the cover of the TV Guide like on a Saturday. And I was just like, I better get back to Allentown and have the conversation, which I did, and everything was fine. And, coming out for people, everybody does it at their own time and needs to feel supported. And my family was amazing and very conservative. And so I wasn't sure, but they wound up being amazing, and they, have been so proud of me.
I mean, at that point, you're at Ralph Lauren.
Right.
You're the fashion icon. You're
Yes.
living in New York City. Why don't you think you were comfortable having dealt with that before it was, let's announce it to the world?
I think when you grow up gay in a rural setting, you oftentimes gravitate to big cities where you can kind of create your own life and you find your own tribe. I have my core New York City group, and they were giving me all the love and support that I needed. So I think it was easier and more comfortable to just procrastinate. The show was out 20 years ago. It's our 20th anniversary year. And I'll meet people who are like, 30 on an airplane. They'll say, "Oh my gosh, I watched your show with my mom. I didn't know if she was going to accept me. And it made my coming out so much easier. My dad was super conservative. I watched with him. He thought you were really funny. You were the first gay person he ever knew. And it made my journey easier." So those are the best moments from the show. And then personally, it forced me to come out and be very, very authentic. And so that was a blessing as well.
It feels like that should have been empowering, mostly because you weren't playing a part. Like
Right,
you were on
right.
TV being you
Yes.
and out there so open in the public
Yeah.
and got that kind of like
Yes.
cultural changing response.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was amazing for me, and and sometimes I give like college graduation speeches where I was like, always be authentic, because even the thing that I thought was my Achilles heel wound up being the thing that was like celebrated. So you never know. So it's always best to be who you're meant to be.
Did you know then that you were potentially at the forefront of a cultural shift or kind of making things easier for a community?
No. I just wanted to get rid of mullets and pleated khakis. Seeing us just doing our thing on TV, 5 gay men who were successful and confident and compassionate and had a lot of empathy, it resonated with people, and they said, oh my gosh, I didn't know a gay person before, but I see you guys, and you do great work, and you're so kind, and you're empathetic, and of course you should have equal rights, and of course you should be able to adopt or get married or all those things. So visibility on TV is so important, or in any media, or just in your own life. When that's the power of being out, is that people see you and know you and say, well, you're a great person. Of course you should have all the same rights that everybody else should have.
It's hard to hate somebody you already like. When you're sitting
Right,
there and and then in your case on TV people knew, but in other cases you meet this person,
Right.
you like this person, you see this person, and then you find out that's the
Right.
person who's having to fight behind the scenes just to live.
I still believe
Okay.
in the power of like people knowing each other and connecting on the human level and stripping away all of the I'm this, I'm that, and you just have one-on-one time. You're just like, okay, we're more similar than we are different.
Next on The Pulse, does being highly visible in the LGBTQ community force him into tough issues?
Does the shy kid from Allentown embrace or shy away from the fact that you are now being asked about this?
I'm not an activist, but you do have to stand up for what's right. It's very easy to get caught up on focusing what's wrong with the world, but I still believe that stories like mine show there are endless possibilities out there.
It seems like it's harsh right now.
Yes.
Is that a backward step? Is it just more visible? Is it more of a let's talk about it on TV?
I think it's a combination of both, and I think it's it's sad and it's upsetting and it's extremely unfortunate that we're going through this again. I think a little bit of it is just it's more exposed with social media, and people are very vocal, and it's very easy to be vocal when it's anonymous on social media.
Yeah.
Certain political leaders seem to be fueled by that kind of hate and unacceptance. So there's that. We've taken so many steps backward with, places that are banning books. That sounds like something from like the McCarthy era, or like the Scarlet Letter, like Nathaniel Hawthorne, like in 1790. So those are really maddening, and it's hard to figure that out. And I think the overall thing that it's a distraction from the real problems that we have in our country. And for many people, it's working. It is distracting people from real issues.
Well, and it's interesting because we're banning books that empower the African American community.
Right.
You're banning books that empower the LGBTQ
Right.
plus community. It's interesting that is the thing that people stand on.
Right.
now.
Or drag bans. And I understand that some people might not want their kids reading a certain book or might not want their kids going to a drag show. I totally get it. But they also probably don't want our kids watching certain television shows, but we don't throw the TV out. It's called parenting, and you say, I don't think this is appropriate for you. I'm gonna let you be older and then you decide. But we don't have to throw away the medium. We don't have to burn books, ban drag in the state of Texas. It's really ways to demonize our community and also, take us backward in time.
Does the shy kid from Allentown embrace or shy away from the fact that you are now being asked about this? You're an activist, which was never really your intent.
I'm not an activist, but you do have to stand up for what's right.
Okay.
And it wouldn't be, it's not even just limited to my community. I'm a Scorpio and a big fan of Legally Blonde, and I feel like I would have been an amazing attorney. And like on my birthday chart, it says like, you like to fight for justice. So that's just, what I do. Like if I see somebody like being treated poorly somewhere, I will go over and like get my nose up in there and be like, oh, no. They were first, they get the tip. Like I'm literally that bossy person. So I have to say something.
So what's next? Because I feel like you're doing a little bit of everything anyway.
I don't know, Pennsylvania senatorial race. I live here for real.
Would you
as
get into
opposed
politics?
to some people.
So I don't know if it's a joke or a goal.
It's a distant possibility.
Really?
You heard it here first, America and Pennsylvania. No, it is something I have thought about, but that would be a very, very far down the road. I just love what I do. I think working in TV is so fun. It's different every day. I really enjoy it. It's what I'm good at. And it doesn't matter the genre. Sometimes people are like, wow, you're on a cooking show. I didn't know you knew about food. I was like, I've been eating since I was a baby. Also, I get to work on the most Emmy-winning reality show of all time, RuPaul's Drag Race. And that's always different and always new. And in these weird times where drag is being, I think very unfairly and with no common sense attacked, it's important to be a part of that show too.
We had, and you saw it when Billy Porter was here, said that the thing that was initially the biggest challenge to his life and career is now his superpower.
Right.
And he couldn't be more happy with that
Absolutely.
superpower. You still love this.
I do. When you do like a TV show and stuff, you have to do like a media tour, and most people hate it. And they're like, "Oh my God, I have to get up like at 4 a.m. and go on the Today Show." And I like doing the media more than I like doing the show, usually because it's like you wear cute outfits, you talk to nice people. So this is fun for me.
Coming up, the fun-loving, always smiling Carson Kressley takes a moment to get serious.
When there's anti-trans laws and anti-drag and people think, oh, it's just political. Well, actually those trickle down and kids see that stuff on TV and they think, oh, am I less worthy?
You do charitable work, you do advocacy work.
Yes.
What are the things that are important to you?
Well, like I said earlier, LGBTQ youth, because LGBTQ youth are so vulnerable because, like I said, a lot of times they don't have the support and love of their family, which is incredible to me. And one of the things that I worked on for a long time was the True Colors Fund, which works to make sure that we eliminate youth homelessness. And gay LGBTQ kids tend to be 40% more likely to be homeless than their straight peers. And mostly because their own families don't understand or accept their sexuality and basically say they have to leave their home. So it's a huge problem, but the good thing is that it's an absolutely fixable problem. It's not like cancer or something that we don't even have the resources to fix. We can absolutely fix this problem. So that's been a big focus of mine. I love the Trevor Project and the work that they do. And again, right now when there's anti-trans laws and anti-drag and people think, oh, it's just political. Well, actually those trickle down and kids see that stuff on TV and they think, oh, am I less worthy? Oh, is there something wrong with me? And that, leads to increases in LGBTQ suicide. So Trevor Project does a great work across the board with helping people prevent suicide.
The actual phrase, use your voice for good, means what to you?
To me, it's just what you're supposed to do. I feel like when you have a platform, and you could be all different, you don't have to be a celebrity, but you might just be somebody in your community that people look up to. I feel like when you have that power, there's that responsibility that comes with it. To me, it's like, and this sounds icky, it's like paying taxes, but it's just what you do. Like, if you're lucky enough to be in that position, you should be able to give 10% of your money or 10% of your time, or just make the effort to be there for other people who might not be as fortunate or are on their way to being fortunate but need your help right now.
Carson Kressley, thank you for coming in.
Of course.
I appreciate it.
Thank you for the water.
We got branded stuff.
And
it's
right here, the
Pulse
Pulse.
water. We got Pulse mugs and shirts.
Oh my gosh.
We got things.
And I feel like I matched the set.
Yeah, you coordinated
beautifully.
Yeah, we planned that.
It was, it's meant to be.
It is always a pleasure to me to find out that people are as cool in person as they may appear to be on TV. So thank you, Carson Kressley, for coming in. Thank you so much for watching. And a reminder, if you want to hear the entire interview, you can do that places where podcasts are available. Just hit subscribe so you can get your weekly notification. And I leave you today, as I always do, reminding you that whenever you can, use your voice for good and have a good one.